All right. So, speaking with some of my female colleagues and associates, sometimes we get into a conversation and the conversation develops into unique topics and discussions. And I wonder, and a lot of times I don't really ask too many questions once they start to go off on a tangent. I just listen to them. And there's a lot of questions that I ask myself. I don't necessarily ask them within the conversation because it's going to go down a rabbit hole that I really don't want to deal with. But having said that, one of the most recent discussions and conversations that I had, the woman mentioned that she was going to, at some point, find her Mr. Right. I know God has someone prepared for me. I can't wait to meet him. I can't wait to see this guy. Mind you, this woman has already had kids, had already been married and divorced a couple times, but she's insistent that God has someone prepared for her. So, the question that I asked myself was, how do you know that? Granted, I'm not an overly religious person, but I do believe in God. I do believe in God. I have my own positions and questions, and I'm not a blind believer, but I do believe in a higher power. But I asked the question, how do you know that he has someone prepared for you? This perfect guy, Mr. Right, who's going to come and help you and save you. Like, how do you know that? Because is it possible that God may have put a good guy, really solid guy, checked 90% of the boxes in your life, and you may have thought, well, I can get a better deal. She may have thought that. I don't know. I didn't go in depth, but she may have thought she can get a better deal. So she let the guy go for undisclosed reasons, irreconcilable differences, whatever that means. And she's in a situation now where she can't find the guy that she wants. But she really wants a guy because she's calling on God and asking him to send him that guy. And she believes at some point God's going to send it. Could it be, and I'm not trying to be a pessimist, but could it be that God sent the guy, you made a mistake, let him go, and as a result of that decision that you made, you're going to spend the rest of your life looking for Mr. Right, and he's never going to be there? Could that be the case? I'm not saying that it is, but you have to ask those questions. Because how do you know that he's going? Because she was insistent that God was going to send her Mr. Right. And I should have questioned her, but I didn't want to go down the rabbit hole. And I asked this. If you know at some point God is going to send Mr. Right, and you don't think that you're going to spend the rest of your life by yourself, you're not going to meet that wonderful person. Sorry about that. Then you must know what God's will is. And if you know what God's will is, then why are you asking? Why, like, it's already done. You shouldn't even be asking. You should just live your life, and at some point that's going to happen. But you don't know what God's will is. You don't know what he has in store for you. You don't know. I believe he gave you the right to make decisions for yourself. Essentially, we're all a byproduct of our free will. So the decisions that you make matter, and they lead to something. They have consequences, ramifications. So if you make bad decisions, you're probably going to get a bad result. So I was just thinking, like, how do you know? Like, how can you rule out that he's not going to send someone else, and he already sent you a good guy, and you just let him go? How do you rule that out? I don't think that you can. But be that as it may, I hope everything works out for the individual. I hope anybody who's a good person finds their Mr. Right or Mrs. Right, if that's the case. But I was thinking about that, decided to shoot a video about that. you have comments, leave comments. I'm interested in hearing what the public has to say. But as always, thank you for spending your time with me. Good morning, good afternoon, and good night. Peace.